Many people wonder what happens and what goes on behind the scenes on an international rugby event of such big nature. Today we're going to showcase some of the roles and responsibilities of those involved in preparation of such a big event to ensure that rugby players play in a safe environment and are looked after and managed properly by the medical staff involved. We hope that you enjoy this and take away some key learnings and have a better understanding of what goes on behind the scenes in the medical preparation for such a big event.
Play smart. Walk smart. Winners play smart.
Hi, my name is Clint Reeder and I'm the SA Rugby Senior Medical Manager. I'm also the Tournament Medical Director for the HSBC Cape Town leg of the World Rugby 7 Series. A fair bit of planning goes into a tournament such as this. If we just take the support that we need with regards to medical on match day, we need to have a medical room that is very closely located to the playing field so that there's ease of access for the player and the medics to reach the medical room. On match day as well, we have a number of medical staff that provide support to the players. First and foremost, we have the emergency medical support that's provided by ER24, and those are those paramedics that you see running onto the field to assist in any serious or catastrophic injury that you might see.
I'm Jan Killops and I'm the head of the events department for Mediclinic and ER24. So we like to think that Sevens Rugby is the Formula One of rugby, and we need to tailor our medical team to be as fast and efficient as our rugby players are. So we like to bring them in here, sort out the injuries, because we realize that everything is time critical. The coordination of the process involves preparing the pre-hospital team at field side and the hospital team in the medical facility, all the way to our network of hospitals that are supporting this event. It's a challenging task being a matchday doctor, and we assist with all of the components of their responsibilities. It begins with the head injury assessments that we do with the aid of the Hawkeye technology. The EMS staff also work closely with the concussion doctor in spotting incidents on the field and reporting them to our facility. We coordinate the field side staff with the medical facility so that the players are brought efficiently to the medical facility for an accurate diagnosis and appropriate management depending on their injury. The medical facility can become quite busy. Our assessments include initial assessments and clearing patients for playing and removing them from play, and follow-up of patients that we have seen to make sure that they're playing safely.
We also have a matchday doctor. The matchday doctor is responsible to make sure that first and foremost the rules and regulations that pertain to medical that are put out by World Rugby are applied. The matchday doctor also works very closely with the team medical staff to ensure that the appropriate management for the injured player is undertaken, and if that player needs to come off and see the medics, he's brought through to the medical room.
I'm Conrad van Hagen. I'm the matchday doctor. Basically my role is to be a link between the on-field team, which would be either the doctor or the physio of their medical team, just assisting them with emergencies. So if there is an emergency, to basically link with our paramedical team on the side, get them on. We use different signals to get them onto the field according to what the problem are. Then also a big part of it is to review the concussions. We review the concussions by looking at video footage, but also firsthand seeing what happens on the field. If there's any concern, I've got authority to remove the player from the pitch, either as a concussion, and then to assess him in the medical room to decide if he can return to play or if he will be removed from play.
We also have a concussion review doctor. His responsibility is to look for head injury events that need further attention. Either the player is removed permanently from the field of play, or is brought to the medical room for further assessment, or the decision is to leave him on the field and continue playing.
So I'm Gus van Koorje. I'm in charge of the head assessment injury reviews. I basically monitor the possible head injuries and reviewed on the computer. Using the video review, I work closely with the matchday doctor in the medical room to determine whether the player is permanently removed, needs further assessment, or can continue playing in the tournament.
Part and parcel of the medical action plan as well is planning for events that take place at the field, and you'll see the emergency staff practice before the time on how to remove a player who may have suffered a serious neck injury. What happens if we have a sudden cardiac arrest? How to actually get involved with that and make sure that we manage those players properly.
It's essential for your medical team to be very well prepared for match day. And the elements of the preparation are from the edge of the field all the way into the medical facility that you have available. So, extrication of the patient off a field is something that needs to be practiced and rehearsed. So, when you're faced with an injured player, that player should be removed efficiently and quickly to minimize any injury that they may have. So, field-side practice, according to the World Rugby protocols, ensures that the patient is stabilized from the place where they're lying on the ground safely, and this involves manual inline stabilization of the neck. And this may be the physio or the doctor on field that arrives first at the patient. The emergency care team then needs to take over, and this has to be done in a controlled way.
I need help.
I've got control.
I've got control.
Turning around.
Great.
I've got control.
Thank you. Okay.
And my team, 3 over, 3 under.
Okay, just hang on to the board.
Okay, the board.
Okay, guys, thank you.
Can you just give yourself a nice big hug?
Okay, there we go.
So once the emergency team has taken over the stabilization of the neck, they can then proceed to evacuating the patient efficiently. And they may choose to do this on a spine board or on a scoop. And this procedure has to be in a coordinated manner so that you minimize the movement of the spine, neck, and patient.
Okay. Team, we need to roll the patient at 15 degrees on my count. Ready to roll and roll. Perfect, thank you. Slide in the board. You good, Kobus? Yes. Ready to roll and roll. Thank you. Ready, team? Ready to roll and roll. Thank you. Clip in. Okay. Let's roll back. Ready to roll and roll. We're gonna move up. Thank you. Ready to move and move. Perfect. Thank you. Can I have the spider on this one? Good tension on the.
There's a flow with the heads ready.
Are we in? Are we in?
Okay.
Thank you. Other way, other way. Okay, yeah. Ready to go?
Let's
Thank you.
just try and do the stretch at the same time more.
Thank you. Put it in.
Can
Can I have the head straps, please? Okay. Okay, we're going in the golf cart.
Okay, everyone ready?
Kobus is count.
1, 2, 3, left.
Perfect, thank you. Let's go.
It's essential that your team has to practice on match day. It doesn't matter how well-oiled your team is, on match day the situation could be different. You're in front of TV cameras, you're in front of school parents, and it's absolutely important that your patient is at the forefront of your decision making. And this can only happen when your team is coordinated, when there's a team leader, and you're all working to the same goal of the patient's safety.
At a tournament such as this, we also have video review technology, which is a critical component in terms of managing players with head injuries.
I'm Wayne Viljoen. I'm the Senior Manager of Rugby Safety at the South African Rugby Union. My role here for these 2 days is to be the concussion video reviewer. We use this fantastic system over here. It's got 10 live feeds from different angles, from different cameras, of every rugby match played during this tournament. Most systems are not as fortunate as we are. They generally have 1 or 2 feeds, but the principle itself is a very solid one. We use the video technology to pick up any specific incident where there's a head clash involved, be it a concussion or a suspected concussion or just a head clash where we have concerns around the player. We clip it, we timestamp it. We can go back to that specific point in time on the software, review that very same incident from every different camera angle, which are synced, and we can use that information together with the matchday doctor, the clinical room staff who are at work over here, and the concussion review doctor as well, to make the best decision for that specific player in terms of their further management in the tournament, either by removing them from the tournament, having a further assessment, or ultimately clearing the player to continue playing.
The head injury assessment protocol is used at this tournament to manage players with head injuries. The head injury assessment protocol is a 3-point-in-time process. It consists of the HIA-1 process, the HIA-2 process, and the HIA-3 process. The HIA-1 process is a 4-component process. It consists of criteria 1 signs and symptoms. Those are 11 signs and symptoms. If a player has one of those signs or symptoms, they are immediately and permanently removed from the field of play. If a player comes off the field because we feel that his head injury needs further assessment, he comes off for an off-field assessment. That off-field assessment is a multimodal assessment. It looks at his symptoms, his balance function, and his memory function.
We're bringing you off the field because of a head impact that we'd like to review. Should this test be positive, it will confirm the suspected concussion. We're going to start the assessment with the Maddox questions. Any incorrect question answered is confirmation of suspected concussion. Gershwin, what venue are we at today?
At the Cape Town Stadium.
What half is it now?
Second half.
Did your team win the last game?
Yes.
I'm now going to test his immediate memory and compare this to his baseline score. I'm going to give you a list of 5 words. I'm going to say them slowly, and I'd like you to repeat them back to me in any order. Elbow, apple, carpet, saddle, bubble.
Elbow, apple, carpet, saddle, bubble.
I'm now going to test his concentration. Gershwin, I'm going to give you a list of digits. I'm going to give them to you in an order, and I'd like you to repeat them back to me in reverse order. Are you ready? 4, 3, 9.
9, 3, 4.
3, 8, 1, 4.
4, 1, 8, 3.
Gershwin, I'm now going to check you for symptoms of concussion. I'm going to give you a list of symptoms to read, and I would like you to read it out loud to me and then tell me whether you have that symptom or not.
Do you have a headache? No. Do you have any dizziness? No. Do you have any pressure in your head? No. Do you feel nauseated or do you feel like vomiting? No. Do you have any blurred vision? No. Does the light or noise worry you? No.
I'm now going to assess Gershwin for clinical signs that are suspicious of concussion. The clinical signs that suggest concussion are being emotional, such as sad, anxious, nervous or irritable, looking drowsy or having trouble concentrating, or if I suspect concussion, despite the above tests being normal. Gershwin, we're now going to test your balance with you walking on the line heel to toe. When you did the test in your baseline, did you have your rugby boots on?
Yes.
It's important that you walk as fast as you can, as accurately as you can, heel to toe with each step. When you cross the end, turn around and walk back. Your hands can be on your hips or free at your side. You will be allowed 4 attempts. One of your attempts needs to be less than 14 seconds. The last part of the test is to test his delayed recall. We ask the same list of 5 words and see how many he can remember. Gershwin, do you remember the list of 5 words that I gave you at the beginning of the assessment? 5 minutes have now passed, so can you tell me how many of those words can you remember?
Can you remember all of it? Elbow, apple, carpet, saddle, bubble.
This ends our head injury assessment. Now we will use this information in addition with the video evidence gathered and either return the player to play, as in this case, or remove the player from the field and enforce the graduated return to sport.
The HIA-2 process is done within 3 hours after the HIA-1 process, and this is to recognize early signs of concussion. And then there's the HIA-3 process, which is done 36 to 48 hours after the event, and that is to pick up late signs of concussion.
Well, there you go. You have now a little bit more of an insight in terms of the inner workings behind a big tournament from the medical preparation front. There's a lot of people involved, a lot of effort goes behind it to ensure that the players are really well looked after. The players are in really good hands. Yes, to smarter, safer rugby.